everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my February TBR. On my channel, I play a TBR game called Roll the Dice with a Dash of Chaos, and it was inspired by both Jessie Mae and Sam from A Life of Lit. They are, of course, linked down below. I kind of went over all of the rules once again last month, so I will link that up in the cards if you are interested in watching my January TBR and me kind of explaining how my game works. But otherwise, I'm going to assume that you've seen one of these videos before. Before hopping into how I did in the month of January, if you're new here, hello, my name is Emily. This is MacInnis Mama, where you will find mostly bookish content. I do now have a new bookstagram that I will link down below. It is my romantasy era, and I would love it if you would follow me over there as well. This was the stack of books I had in the month of January for this year, at least for right now. My rules are never set in stone. I am rolling 8 times, and as long as I read the challenges and roughly half of the books, or like I don't stray too far from this TBR, I'm not going to take a punishment. I wanted to have more rolls and more options to mood read a little bit and work things into other content, but I don't have to finish the entire stack. But these are the physical books I had on my list. I did read House of Sky and Breath. I did not read The Night Circus or Vampire Academy. Sorry, my wrist is breaking, so I have to keep moving them. I had The Fellowship of the Ring, which was one of my challenges, and I have started this book. This is about 500 pages, and I'm on page 143, so I have made some progress on this book. I'm currently reading it. I will finish it, but probably not before January ends, but I'm not going to take a punishment for this. I unfortunately did not read The Winter of the Witch or One Dark Window yet, but these two, out of all the ones I haven't read off this TBR, these are the two highest on my priority list. I will try and work these in February. And lastly, I have Firefly Lane, and my other challenge from my January TBR was The Family Upstairs, and I did read both of these. I will obviously give my thoughts, feelings, ratings, all of that in my January wrap-up video, but as I'm sure you can tell, I completely read one of my challenge and am like 20 to 25% of the way through my other challenge. I also had a library pick that was Immortality, a love story. I did read that. And I had a Readers Also Enjoyed prompt, which I picked Scarred by Emily McIntyre on Kindle Unlimited, and I did read that as well. So I have read 6 out of 10 of the options for my January TBR. I'm going to call that a success, and so I'm not going to be taking a punishment for February. February is going to be a bit of a tricky month for me reading wise. It's Fanro Feb, it's Valentine's Day, so I want some romances. It's also Black History Month. It's also a short month. So I don't know how I'm possibly going to fit all the reading I want to do in the month of February, but I will be trying my best. I had a great start to the year. Quite a few 5 stars. I'm really happy with my reads in the month of January and hope that continues into the month of February. Now, all that rambling aside, I am now going to roll the clip of me doing Roll the Dice with a Dash of Chaos, and I'll meet you right back here with my picks. Roll number 1. 8. Happenstance. Roll number 2 is 4, thank goodness, but it's also doubles, which means we have a challenge prompt. Can you pull one paper from here?
Mine, can I have a pull after placing?
Mm-hmm. A classic. Roll number 3. 8.
And 2.
Neon Gods. Roll number 4. 7. An easy prompt.
No, it means 7. Here's my 7.
I need one paper.
Seven.
Under 400 pages. Roll number 5. 7 again from the easy prompt bin.
Wait, you're on the other side too? What? I just got to.
POC rep. Roll number 6. Hard prompt, and that's doubles again, so we need to pull out of 2 bins. Can you pull out of that one? So our hard prompt is...
Yeah.
Thank you. A reread. And our challenge prompt is... Unhaul a book. Roll number 7.
Max, literally 7.
7.
Let me put these back. Yes, that's all good.
Thank you. Easy prompt.
What is that?
A mood read.
What is that?
Roll number 8, last roll. 7 again. We've gotten this so many times.
7.
Thank you.
7. 7 more than Kevin. No, it means 7.
A fantasy. All right, that was a little bit chaotic. I had some helpers for doing roll the dice for my February TBR. I was tempted to refilm it, but ultimately decided not to and just keep the chaos. Roll the dice with a dash of chaos is in reference to the prompts and the challenges and all of that, but it was also relevant to having small children help me apparently. Roll number 1, I rolled one of my books I put on the list, and I got Happenstance by Tessa Bailey. My husband bought this for me for my birthday last year, I believe, but I haven't heard good reviews. This is a Why Choose contemporary, and it is very short at less than 300 pages. But like I said, it's been sitting on my shelf for a while because I haven't heard good reviews. So I have not been super inclined to pick this up, but February seemed like a good month to add it into my options. So I'll be reading this in February. I forgot to mention also at the beginning of this video that the main goals I have this year for my reading are knocking back my physical TBR and finishing series, so hopefully we can accomplish some of those goals this month. Roll number 2 was House of Flame and Shadow, which I'm so thankful that I was able to fit this on my official February TBR because of course I'm going to be reading the new Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. Unfortunately, my copy has yet to arrive, but expect a reading vlog for that book release from me. I am not going to be binging that book. I am not going to be scrambling to get content up as fast as possible. Sam and I are going to buddy read it. She is linked down below, of course, and so we are going to pace ourselves, take our time. So there will be a reading vlog, but it's going to be probably much later than most other House of Flame and Shadow content you will be seeing, but that's okay with me. And that roll was a double, so I had to pull a challenge prompt, and the challenge prompt I got was a classic, which I definitely do not want to be reading a classic in February, but the classic I chose is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This was on my priority TBR for last year and I didn't get to it, and it is quite chunky, almost 600 pages and like hardly any margins. I'm going to try and get the audiobook from my library, but I don't expect this to be a difficult read. It's just probably difficult for me to prioritize picking it up. But as it is a challenge prompt, I must read this in February or take a punishment in March. So that should be incentive enough. As mentioned, I've been trying to get as many romance and fantasy romance books from my physical TBR on to the list. So next roll I got Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This is a fake dating Hades and Persephone? Not really sure. This is the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert, and I'm really excited to start it. I've heard really good reviews on this series, and this has been sitting on my shelf for way too long. I can't believe it's under 400 pages, and the font is huge. So it definitely shouldn't be too hard to read. This is not fantasy romance though, I don't think. I think it's like inspired by Greek mythology, but more of like a contemporary setting. Correct me if I'm wrong. Roll number 4, I got a book under 400 pages, and with this one I would like your guys' suggestions. I feel like there wasn't anything that I really felt strongly about putting on here. Looking over, like obviously I haven't gone over everything with you yet, but I would like a romance or a fantasy romance that is under 400 pages. Preferably on Kindle Unlimited. I think that will help break up my reading and be kind of a fun read. So if you have a suggestion that fits into that, available on Kindle Unlimited and under 400 pages, I would love your suggestions for my 4th roll. Roll number 5 was POC Rep, and for this one I'm putting in Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. Again, February is Black History Month, so I definitely want to prioritize reading books by Black authors. Bloodmarked is the 2nd book in the Legendborn series. I have read Legendborn twice and still haven't picked up Bloodmarked, the sequel. So again, I have that goal of finishing out series. This does not finish a series, but then I will be caught up with the releases, so it kind of moves off of the list, if that makes sense. So I definitely want to prioritize Bloodmarked for sure in February. Roll number 6 was another double. Firstly, the prompt I got was a reread. I will be reading Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I read this quite a long time ago and never continued with the series, so I need to reread this book in order to continue. So I'm choosing this for a reread, and then the challenge prompt I got was Unhaul a Book, and the book I forgot to go grab, but the book I pulled off my shelf was My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. Not only do I think the topics covered in that are not going to be something that I am able to read, but Jodi Picoult also said some really not great things on social media recently, so that's the only book I have by her left on my shelf, and I'm just going to get rid of that one. Roll number 7 is a mood read, which means I don't have to choose a book I don't have to choose a book right now to fulfill this prompt, but I do know that Sam and I want to buddy read Heartless by Elsie Silver in the month of February. This could not fit for the under 400 pages. It is longer than that. So in order to just slot it in on this TBR and talk to you guys about it, I'm putting this in as mood read, but any book I read that I haven't already mentioned could go in this spot as well. This is a single dad nanny romance, the 2nd book in the Chestnut Springs series. So again, continuing series. And I absolutely loved Flawless, the 1st book, and I'm really excited to dive back in with the Eaton family. This is many people's favorite book in the series, so I have really high hopes for this romance, and I'm happy to once again get another romance on this February TBR. And lastly, roll number 8 was a fantasy book. I don't know if it said fantasy or adult fantasy, I can't remember, but I'm putting on God's Grave by Jay Kristoff. So I'm going to reread Nevernight and then jump into the 2nd book. This is going to be for a specific reading vlog that I have been working on for literally months, and when you see what the subject is, you will hopefully understand why it's taking me so long. I will give you a little spoiler. It's one of those this vlog will end when fill in the blank, and this vlog still hasn't ended. So this will be included in that, so I needed to get it on here anyways, and it just worked out perfectly that I got both a reread prompt and a fantasy prompt, and I could put both Nevernight and God's Grave on my official February TBR. I'm really looking forward to finally getting this. It's been on my physical TBR for 5 years. I know that for sure because my husband bought this for me for our first wedding anniversary when the traditional gift was paper, and we celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary last. So, oops. I'm feeling a little cocky about my February TBR because this is what my stack is looking like, which looks entirely reasonable, doesn't it? However, I have the book under 400 pages, I have House of Flame and Shadow, and Bloodmarked is also a very chunky fantasy book to add. So the stack is almost twice as tall if I had all of the books here physically, but looking at this stack, I feel really good about my chances. Specifically, the book under 400 pages and Happenstance are both very short reads. Let me know if there are any vlogs you would like to see from me. I have some ideas of content I want to film in the month of February, but nothing set in stone. I will also mention that the Who Did This To You book club hosted by Tori Between Pages on the app Fable will be reading The Ever King, which is on my TBR. Not like my monthly official TBR, but it's a book I had wanted to get to, so if I have the time, I would love to read that book as well. But that is it for my February TBR. Like I said, I'm feeling really good about my book picks this month. Leave your suggestion for the book under 400 pages that's available on Kindle Unlimited down in the comment section, and let me know a book that you're really excited to get to in the month of February. Are you also reading House of Flame and Shadow like me and Sam, like most people that I know, honestly? But that is it from me today. I look forward to chatting with you all in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!